I'm Valentina. I'm a first-year scene designer. My alarm clock, because it's the thing that wakes me up, and then I go straight to my laptop to check my Facebook and see what my mom said.
All right. Why do you choose Facebook to begin your day?
Because it just sort of keeps me updated on what I missed the night before, because I'm always drafting and doing work at night, so I miss a lot of stuff that goes on, and people post videos or they come and they leave me messages when they can't reach me on my phone. iPod and cell phone.
Why those?
Cell phone to check the time, iPod to listen to music, because I can't stop listening to music ever. I'd probably be more productive.
How so?
I get lost in thought a lot when I listen to my iPod. And then I wouldn't, well, actually, it depends. I'd be more productive if I were in like a homework situation, because I could tune everybody around me out. Like I'd be less productive without my iPod, because my iPod lets me tune everybody else out so I can work. But I would be more productive in situations where I'm alone, because if I'm in my room and I have a book and I have my laptop and I have my iPod and I have my cell phone, I'm gonna end up checking my email or texting or listening to music instead of reading. I find it really difficult to read because I'm so used to hearing information or having other people, like I'm so used to going on YouTube for like instructional videos and things rather than read how-to manuals and things. Like I have such a problem following written directions, and I figured this out in drafting when I couldn't construct a line based on information they gave me. I had to watch somebody else do it.
Do you feel like you've lost the ability to learn on your own to some degree?
To a degree, because I feel like if I were to read something, a description of something, it never looks like the actual object that I end up seeing. I find that a lot in, because I am in scene design, so I find a lot when I'm reading a show that I picture it one way and then I go watch the production or watch a movie and it's completely different, and it's totally off.
Have you seen that effect in other people?
I haven't noticed it too much. I noticed that I have more trouble in drafting than a lot of my classmates do with following the directions in the book. Everybody seems really capable of it, but I think that's just a math thing. I think it's because I never really had a real good math teacher. So I never learned how to read out of a textbook how to construct certain things, but I don't really think it's that big of a problem. No, because we got along fine without them, and we could do it again.
Well, then why do you think we've adopted them?
Because it's more entertaining, because it's different, because it's something, it's sort of like we've always had TV sets, and it's like, oh, well, we grew up with TV sets, and it's like, oh, yay, TV, and then you get something new, and it's the same TV, and it's the same TV shows, but now it fits in your hand, so now it's more interesting, and now you want it, because other people don't have it. I think from the very beginning, it could have been purely intellectual. Like, it could have been books on tape, instead it was all our music, because they knew that people would be more responsive to entertainment than they would to learning. So they tried to facilitate that more, and then it got a little out of control. I hadn't noticed it all that much until my mom brought it up recently, that it seems like everyone is way more anxious than people used to be, because all of our communication is so instantaneous that if we can't reach somebody in a span of like 20 minutes, everybody freaks out. Like we have too many ways to communicate, so now all of our communication has been like washed out. Like getting a phone call used to be really special because you'd have to get up and go get your house phone, and you'd be at home and they'd know what time to call, and you know, it was so much more personal, and I feel like it sort of goes the same way with relationships to each other online. Like the more friends you have on your top friends, like it's like people that you've never even met, and it's just getting so diluted. Like all of your relationships with people are becoming so like diluted that it's just like you think that you know all these people, but you don't, because before you ever meet them, you see favorite books, favorite movies, birthday, whether or not they have a boyfriend, whether or not they have a girlfriend, there's their cell phone number. Like, you know so much about people, but you really don't. So it's like the more friends you have online, the less friends you have in person. I know that I've had conversations with people on Facebook or on MySpace that I've never met in real life, and they were like really good, deep conversations, and then I will pass by them in the hall and I'll not say a word to them. Like, you know when like you talk to people online and you're like, oh, these are such pretty pictures, and you talk to them online, you see them in person, and you don't say hello, because you're like, I don't really know them. But you talk to them all the time, but you don't really. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like everybody becomes so abstracted in real life. Because like online, you're not face to face with people and you can say whatever you want. But then in person, you become more, like you become so shy. It's like you have to relate back to something that you had said online to even be able to start a conversation.
It's like not even just a you thing though, because even the other person won't say hi to you. It's like the both of you in the friendship.
It's like the person that you are online is not the same person.
It's not. You're more willing to share things online than you are in real life.
Because you're not looking them in the eye.
Yeah.
I think a while ago it seemed like only certain people had any reason to use the internet or had any like access to it. So it was always solicitation or it was always negative things. But now it's become so like available that like the average Joe can get online and post a blog about whatever they want. And I think it's getting so much more available to people. And I think it's becoming more and more positive as more and more people are becoming comfortable with it. No. I know people who are, but I'm not.
An example?
My sister, it's not so bad now that she's started school and she's doing stuff, but she took a year off from school and spent all day doing stuff digitally, like web comics, fan fiction, all this stuff. And whenever we'd be like at the table talking, I'd be talking about school, my parents would be talking about work, and my sister would talk about stuff that did not happen to her. She'd be talking about stuff that she read or that she saw or that somebody blogged about, and it was never stuff that she did or that actually happened. The internet's become like a cop-out for people who are afraid of making social connections to people or like deep interpersonal relationships. It's become such a cop-out to be like, oh, let me just go online where there are other people like me who don't like other people. Like, instead of learning how to deal with people in social situations in like your own area or learning how to be more compassionate or anything, people can just get lost online with other people like themselves and never leave their room. And it's just sort of like an easy way out of actually like trying hard to open yourself up to other people. I'm really excited. Like, I'm really excited to see where it's going to take us, really. Like, I'm just really excited to see how people who aren't necessarily like the scholars of the world are going to get a simple idea out and just through digital media make it happen on a grand scale like they've been doing. So you should watch a show called Project Earth, because that's basically what Project Earth is. They've got people that are finding ways to make clouds to shield us from the sun. They're finding people who are making fabrics that can cover glaciers so they won't melt. They have guns that will shoot, like shoots. It'll shoot tree shoots. It's hard. It'll shoot like tree shoots into the ground and instantly plant a tree.
Wow.
All this stuff, and it's so cool, and it's all technology based. So.